Immigration attorney Sharifa Tharp. I'm here live to take your U.S. immigration related questions. Happy Friday, everybody. And as you can see, there's a different background. So I'm at the new office. So we just moved everything today. We're getting ready to open up to the public on May 1st. But I am in the office. You can see the sunshine, the palm trees in the background. So really nice space for us to continue to work on our mission, and that's to help as many immigrants to be able to get their papers here in the United States. So I just wanted to share that with you today, but I want to also be here to answer your questions. I'm showing up to answer some questions quickly before we go into later into the night on Friday. I hope you have something planned or you just are planning to get some rest this weekend. All right, so put your questions in the comments so I can answer your questions. In the meantime, while your questions are coming in, what I want to let you know is when you want to schedule time, go ahead, give us a call and schedule staff. We are working up until 9 p.m. and even after 9 p.m., we have a team that answers the phones to be able to take your messages, to pass the messages on. Um, so, yeah, so can I have your number? My question is private. Of course, that's where we're going to go ahead and schedule an appointment. So the number is supposed to be at the top of the screen on TikTok. So it's 561-405-4889. On YouTube, Facebook, you'll see the number going across the screen, and I'll just put it in the comments um, on Instagram. So I'm under immigration lawyer Sharifa. At the top of the screen on TikTok, you'll see at the top of the comments, you'll see the number and you'll see the phone number going across 561-405-4889. I attended my interview in December. The officer said, I approve your case, but I still haven't received my green card. I am married to a U.S. citizen. So in that case where you've received, now the officer verbally said that they are recommended approval, but was it actually approved? Sometimes if something came up where they're now doing extra checks, that may delay their approval. But what I would do is go ahead, contact them directly and find out what's going on, because the last thing you want is to find out that the card was sent. It's just that you didn't get it. So make sure you're doing that. Okay, keep putting those questions in the comments. I'm here to answer questions. Hello, what is happening with the I-130? So still go ahead and file your I-130s. I know a lot of people are concerned about the I-130s when it comes on to comes on to the countries that are banned, or I shouldn't say banned, but they're under the indefinite pause, the 75 countries. Some people are saying, oh, that means you're not supposed to apply for the I-130. Still apply for the I-130, but get legal advice, of course, before doing that, especially if you're in the country. So that's specific about the question about the travel dates. That's very specific. I wouldn't be able to discuss that. I'd have to understand your entire situation. I want to change from J1 to another status. Which one is best or better to change to? So it depends on what you qualify for. But whenever I hear J1, then the thing I'm really concerned about is the 2 year foreign residency requirement. If you have the 2 year foreign residency requirement, you are not able to go from J1 to another status. You have to go outside of the country, do 2 years outside of the country. You can have a visitor's visa, you can visit, but you still have to do 2 years outside of the country. And then once the 2 years is up, you can then apply for another type of visa. But if that 2 year foreign residency requirement is attached to the J1, you're going to have to get a waiver for that first. Now, what status is better to change to? That really depends on your goals. Do you want to work here? Do you want to go to school here? Do you want to get a green card? Do you want to get married? Do you want to stay with family? It's going the path that you're going to take is not necessarily like you can randomly just choose one. That's the best one because it has to be the best one for you. So can we stay and ask for asylum if we come by a medical visa? Absolutely. Yes. If you're in danger, you're fear of going back to your country for very specific reasons, then absolutely um, make sure you explore applying for asylum. Okay. All right. Okay, what do you charge a qualified client to file an EB1A? No situation. So when we first talk to you, we get all your information and then we can provide you the quote. Who are people targeted by this denaturalization wave? Yeah, so this is what has been happening. Did a video a couple weeks ago that this would be happening right now. They've announced almost 400 people that they're proposing to be denaturalized. In this case, what they're doing is they're reviewing case files and they're going back, they're looking for potential fraud. They're coming down heavy with in regards to fraud. Anybody who committed crimes, certain criminal conduct, and maybe the criminal conduct wasn't evaluated, or the good moral character wasn't evaluated at the time, but now they're they realize that maybe there was criminal conduct that now they're saying could disqualify this person from citizenship. So it's gonna come down to those situations. So people who were committed fraud and should have never gotten it before, or so they say. Keep in mind that you can seek an attorney. You must seek an attorney. Now, denaturalization, they're gonna go to court. They're gonna go to federal court, and then they're gonna have asked the judge to strip your citizenship. You still have the ability to defend yourself. So if you are in a situation like that, you must respond to it. You can't just sit down and not respond to it, because if you don't respond to it, then you are going to lose it by default, right? Because if you don't put forth evidence to show that you didn't commit this fraud that they claim that you committed, or that what you did not get, you got citizenship rightfully, you didn't get it by mistake. If you don't defend that, you are going to lose it by default, right? Because when you go to court, if you don't show up and defend yourself, the judge will find for the other side. They will give the other side the win. So make sure you're seeking an attorney who can defend you in federal court to make sure that that doesn't happen, because it doesn't mean the end of the road for you. However, they are re-reviewing citizenship applicants, and they're going back as far as their visa applications to see, was there any kind of fraud, was there criminal conduct that they didn't catch. And in some cases, criminal, say somebody, so for instance, during the COVID time, a lot of people took the funds fraudulently, and then they say they got citizenship. So they took the funds, they got citizenship, then they were charged with that. what they're saying is no, okay, well, because that conduct happened during that criminal conduct happened even though they didn't apply for citizenship yet at that time, since there was criminal conduct, they weren't charged, but now they know that there was criminal conduct. They are saying that they have to now take away their citizenship. So, and I would say that's arguable, right? Because usually they look at the conviction, but now they're saying the conduct alone, even without the conviction, can create a situation where they can lose their citizenship. So, it's once again something else to look out for, but it is defendable. Um, is there a waiver for fraud, misrepresentation, or is it a permanent bar? It is a permanent bar, but there is a waiver for this. So the waiver, you have to have a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident, spouse or parent, who can then show they'll experience extreme hardship if you don't get the green card. So that's one way to overcome it. The other is, there are certain types of visas, for example, the T visa that does allow for conduct like that, even though it's a permanent bar, to be forgiven in order to get the T visa. I just off the top of my, well, I can think of multiple cases where we were able to get the inadmissibilities waived based on applying for the T visa. And these were serious inadmissibilities. One was misrepresentation and fraud. The other was entering the country after being deported, which comes with a permanent bar as well. When the T visa was approved, the waiver that we submitted on our client's behalf was also approved. And that means that now that it's waived, when they go to do their adjustment of status, they're no longer going to hold it against them as an inadmissibility. So it's there are avenues, but it just depends on what you qualify for. What about people that do marriages for just immigration benefits? So that if they find that out, it's a done deal, right? So that's fraud. That's considered marriage fraud. It's a part of their crackdown on fraud overall. But yeah, if they find that out, which they are re-reviewing, going as far back as green cards. So if you're a citizen, they're going back as far back as the green card application process, your visa application, to see was there any evidence of fraud. So if you did apply through marriage base, and then after reviewing the application, they determined that this didn't look like a real marriage, then they are going to go after the citizenship as well. But keep in mind, guys, once again, this is defendable. Immigration, they're going to try. They are going to try because they know a lot of people will not, they'll be intimidated by court. They will be they won't go to the courts to defend themselves. But the bar is pretty high, right? The standard of proof is pretty high for the government to prove to take away somebody's citizenship. So I think a big danger is that you don't vigorously defend yourself. If you don't vigorously defend yourself, then you're definitely going to you're going to lose that citizenship. I got supplement B form, but it mentioned up there that was a simple assault, not aggravated. So does the U visa case, is it strong? It really is fact intensive. So whenever, and you have to talk to your attorney about that, with the whenever you're trying to show that you qualify for the U visa, you have to look at the facts also to determine whether there was physical or emotional abuse involved as a result of the crime. So facts are going to matter here. All right, so I'm answering. I'm on Instagram now, but I'm coming to TikTok soon, so hang on. Hi there, Sasha. Nice to see you. Thanks for the follow. I appreciate it. Thanks for the love. I appreciate it. How long is a T visa taking? Go to uscis.gov and you'll see the processing times there, the range of time that it's taking. Go to uscis.gov, scroll down on the homepage, you'll see case processing times. Look up the I-914 form, and that's going to tell you. It's a good time to file for citizenship. So if you qualify, go for citizenship. Now, it's a challenging time, but it should not stop you from going for something that's going to benefit you in the future, right? Citizenship gives you additional protections. If you're concerned about something in your background, though, that's where you need to get in touch with us, talk to us, so that we can determine the best course of action forward. Do you have criminal conduct? Do you have anything in your previous applications that you're now concerned about? Then we can talk to you about the risk. The risk, may be low or it may be high, um, just depending on what the situation is. T visa approvals, yes, absolutely. T visa approvals are still happening. We're also getting a lot of bona fide uh, determination EADs, so 4-year work permits, while our clients are waiting for the T visa to be adjudicated. That's very useful because the processing times for the T visas are getting longer, but now our clients are getting 4-year work permits that allow them to live here, work here until the T visa is decided. Any 75 countries pause update? Not at this time. How long will the F4 visa process take? So if you go to the National Visa Bulletin, you'll see it there, but at least 14 years. In Mexico, it's over 2 decades. And the F4 category is the siblings, where siblings sponsor siblings. So that's what I want to mention too. I'm finding that a lot of people are coming to us and they're saying, well, with everything happening, their relatives just went and filed an I-130 for them, thinking that this is gonna be their saving grace here. And before applying for anything, make sure you get personalized legal advice, because it can actually put you more at risk for being placed in removals. So the areas where I'm seeing a lot of people are filing, but it's not really gonna do anything, it may even put you at risk, are US citizen parents that are filing for their adult children who are over the age of 21. They think because the parent is a US citizen, it must be a faster process, and it's not. So when it goes before an officer for a decision, the officer realizes that you're in the United States. The officer might approve the I-130, but they might be issuing a notice to appear at the same time, because they're saying, okay, yeah, clearly you qualify for the green card through your parent, but you didn't file an adjustment of status. You don't qualify for an adjustment of status. So in the officers, from the officer's perspective, they're looking at it like you can still go through removal proceedings and finish the process in your country. So it's important to, make sure that you're evaluating the risk that you face, and whether that process is truly going to work. Don't just start throwing things at the wall, hoping something sticks. Whenever I see that, so whenever I talk to people in consultations, and my head starts spinning because they just start to file things, and it makes the process more complicated, makes their process more unpleasant, and usually it comes with consequences when they do things like that. So just start applying for all sorts of things, hoping that something works. It's important to be strategic and to understand what you're filing and whether that's going to be effective. Uh, Thanks so much for the love on TikTok. I really appreciate it. And why do I appreciate it? I appreciate it because when people see the likes, it goes before other people on the For You page, and those people can become empowered by getting information like this. Thanks for the love on Instagram as well. Thanks so much. He showed a weapon like a knuckle on me, but it didn't mention in police report, but was in the recording that time. So that means it's aggravated assault. So definitely talk to your attorney about this. The attorney, so what they can, sometimes the attorney can make arguments to show that the crime is more serious and should qualify for the U visa. But you have to talk to your attorney to figure. If you don't have an attorney, give us a call and let's talk about it. All right. Thanks so much for the love on Instagram and TikTok. I really appreciate it. Okay, what category of immigration benefits are, I'm on YouTube now and Facebook. What category of immigration benefits are affected by vetting on the previous approvals during Biden administration? Is it all categories, including naturalization? So the main areas they're looking at are asylum. Not to say they're ignoring other areas, but the ones that they're focusing on, that really are taking the forefront are and the green card process. So anybody who got the green card, anybody who and citizenship. So green card, citizenship, and asylum. Those are some of the big ones. But keep in mind that they're cracking down on fraud. They're focusing on fraud across the board. So we're starting to see the same questions, the same themes, and in some cases, they are now nitpicking at every little detail, and because of that, they can come to a conclusion of fraud or misrepresentation so quickly. So it's important. And keep in mind, officers do make mistakes of law when it comes to misrepresentation or fraud as well. So it's important to just make sure that you are, you understand disclosure, what you should be disclosing. You are approach each application with strategy. Don't just apply things because you think applying is going to get you somewhere. Make sure you are really submitting documentation and evidence that's going to support your case. If one has EAD approved, I-131, I-485, I-360 are pending, what will be the fate of such person if accosted by ICE? The person moves around with all the receipts. So the EAD offers a level of insulation from being detained. So if you have that, that is definitely a huge form of protection and security. You can't get any better than an EAD, apart from actually getting the green card or the status you're applying for. Thanks so much for the love. We're at 8.2K likes on TikTok. I appreciate that. Do you have to do a biometrics to get the work permit from a T visa? And how long to wait for the EAD? Yes. Yep, you have to do the biometrics, the background check first. What about F2A outside of US, the processing time? So right now, priority date is current. Um, so as soon as the I-130 is approved, then those applications should be processed by the National Visa Center as long as the priority date is current. No, even though the priority date is current, the National Visa Center processes it. I find the longest part of this process is the actual wait for the interview. And yes, even with a pause in place, they may still call you for an interview. The wait time I see right now is about a year and a half to get that interview date. Thanks so much, Angel, for that number one um, sticker. Thank you. Hi there, Gladstone. Nice to see you. All right, let me see if there's any more questions. Hi there, Bella. I see you're a longtime watcher. Thanks so much. I appreciate your support. Akani, thank you. You're a longtime watcher. Thank you. Oh, I see so many longtime watchers on here. Thanks so much, guys. It's nice to spend the time with you and with people that support me and what I'm doing. So I really appreciate that. So I was in removal processing, and I go to court, and the judge grant the motion to reopen my adjustment of status at USCIS. I sent in the approved reopen document to USCIS. How long? They don't have a standard processing time for a situation like that, so they should be obeying the court order and reopening it right away. So you just have to make sure that your attorney is talking to either the other attorney, U.S. attorney that worked on the case, to make sure that they're complying with the court order. Hello there, King Possible. It's nice to see you. All right, let me see. Any more questions? I'm looking for some good questions, which you always ask good questions. I want to see more of those tonight. Well, we're at 10.8K likes. Which state are you in? I'm in Delray Beach, Florida. However, we represent clients in all 50 states and the globe. So no matter where you are, we can represent you. And we have this beautiful space now with the staff. We're all here, and it allows us to work even more efficiently and expand our services to our clients all over the country. So the first step is to make sure you, hi there, Kirk. Nice to see you. Make sure that you go ahead and schedule time to speak with me. You can do that. My schedule is filling up, but please make sure you are on my schedule. I'm even putting in Saturday appointments so we can help as many people as possible. So just go ahead and go call right now. So staff is on hand right now up until 9 p.m. to be able to assist you. And then even after 9 p.m., you can call. If you're thinking about your immigration situation, 3 in the morning, you can call leave a message and then we'll call you back first thing in the morning. We also run 7 days a week. So Sunday through Sunday, we are here at the office to answer your calls and be able to assist you further. So we're really easy to get in touch with. You can also go to the website. Hi there, Nadia. You can also go to the website, and the website will give you an avenue to complete our form, and we'll get your information. We can also keep in touch with you that way. Can you do a name change while having a pending I-485? Yes, that's possible. You know, at the interview, you'll have to, provide your identification, and the officer does give you the opportunity to update your information. So if now you have a new name by the time you go to the interview, you need to update it. The officer will update that information, have you sign off on it, and that should be the name that's going to end up showing up on your card. They're going to want to show you to show proof, though, that you've legally changed your name. Oh, thanks, Sheena. I appreciate that. And thanks for always being here to tune into the live. I appreciate that. Yes, yes. Um, so my husband has been waiting 14 months, no bona fide or approval. Is that normal? 14 months is yes, it is within the processing times. The bona fide, everybody is considered to after August 24th, 2024, I believe. They are prioritizing those individuals who are applied after that date for the bona fide determination. Anybody before that, they're saying that they are only going to issue a bona fide if they have to submit a request for evidence. And of course, the processing times is much longer. So those individuals have to wait it out for a final decision, basically. Those who applied after, I think it's August 28th or August 24th, 2024, are considered for the bona fide determination. However, it is discretionary. And if they do find anything like a removal order, removal in process, or a criminal record, that has, cause people to be declined for their bona fide. Is it better to file I-751 online or by mail? So it just depends. So if you're doing a waiver, it's going to depend, how you file the I-751. Is it normal to get a biometrics appointment letter within 3 weeks for a T visa? I would say that's not out. It's not strange. It's very quick. Usually, it takes at least a few months. Um, but if you get it in 3 weeks, that's okay too. I don't see a big issue there. If you are nervous about something, that's where you need to talk to your attorney, because it's not bad news to get a biometrics in 3 weeks. But if there's something you're worried about, I think that's where you need to speak to your attorney or schedule time to talk. So going back to the online or by mail, I would say it's online. We've had really good results online. However, in some cases, strategically, it may be better to file by mail. So I can't tell you specifically whether it's okay for you, but where we can file online, I have had good experiences filing online. I find that those cases tend to, especially those cases tend to move a little faster. You get your receipt notice immediately, which can help move along to get your extension letter very quickly. So, online versus by paper, generally, I really do like the online process because it makes, but at the same time, we have some clients that they're not good at, they don't have a USCIS account, they're not very tech savvy. And so, in that case, the paper filing is maybe easier. Like I remember about a month ago, I sat on the phone for about 2 hours just walking a client through creating their USCIS account so that when we prep for their case, we can send it to her USCIS account to sign off on it. And, there was a lot of frustration on the client side because of, and the time it took and the fact that it was just so strange. So in that case, to reduce the stress on the client, it's just better to do paper. But if you're tech savvy, you're all for it, you have a USCIS account, absolutely, it can have its benefits for sure. Will cases be affected after ICE arrested my attorney? He was charged for fraud and conspiracy. I'm so sorry. Yes, so it likely is going to be a situation where they are going to review that attorney's cases to see if they can spot where the fraud was. So I'm sorry that that's happening and it's creating some anxiety in you, but yeah. And the question is, were there an attorney? So I've gotten multiple calls from people calling the notarials attorneys, or they said they thought they were attorneys. So was this person even an attorney, right? Because I don't want you to confuse the two, because I think people do get confused about who's an attorney and who's not, and they often call these people that file. They do everything filing. They file taxes, they file immigration documents, and then they put themselves out there as attorneys. It's important to just make sure you're checking. So the state bar has databases where you can go and you can put the name of the attorney in, and you can find their name to see if they're in good standing with the state and whether they are truly an attorney. But you need to ask these questions. Another thing is these people that put themselves out there as either immigration experts or attorneys, they will say things like, do you want your work permit? Do you want your green card? And you're like, of course, who's gonna say no? And they're like, I can get it for you. And they sure as hell get it for them. But what they do, if you don't know how you qualified for it, you don't know how they did it, you don't know what they submitted, chances are this is going to be a bad news for you, right? If somebody's telling you that they can get you a green card, they can get you your work permit, you need to get details on how exactly they're doing that. When we work with our clients, we tell our clients exactly what they qualify for, how we're applying for it. We work with our clients, we're calling them every week to gather documentation. Our clients review their application before signing to make sure it's accurate and that they understand everything in the application. If this person, even if it's an attorney, but if this person is just telling you that they're going to get you your work permit and they're not asking you any other questions, they just ask for your passport, and then they file documents and you miraculously get some work permit in the mail, bad news, right? And you can be found, you can then be accused of fraud. You can be accused of being a part of a fraudulent scheme. If you are in that situation, you need to get legal advice. So, I already know people are doing this across the country, running these kind of scams. But I know of so many people have come to me who have been victims of someone in New York. It was a big case. And many of them now have to deal with the possible complications in their situation. Even if they qualify for other benefits, their benefit, it's going to be a lot more complicated because of you have a possibility of being accused of fraud. Don't leave this blank on the 2025 tax return. Did your spouse spend less than 50% of the time in the US? So, no, the tax return, now what that goes to is domicile. If the tax return indicates that the spouse that's sponsoring you is actually based outside of the United States, they're living most of their time outside of the United States, then it can raise domicile issues. The petitioner must show that they have domicile in the United States. So we came by a similar issue where our client was an international contractor. He sponsored his spouse in Kenya, and when we were in the final stages of the process, because he filed his tax returns, uh, being outside of the United States, they raised that issue. Well, if your spouse is if this U.S. citizen is living outside of the U.S., they can't qualify until they have domicile in the U.S. We were able to show that at the time he was making a transition back into the United States, we're able to show he was maintaining his home, he was paying his utility bills, he was, basically maintaining everything, all the property, everything he had in the United States, and they didn't have an issue after that. So it's about a domicile issue. If in the tax return, your spouse is filing and they're filing from outside of the United States, you need to show immigration that your spouse is maintaining domicile in the United States. So you have to file the form I-751, print it, sign it with your spouse, and scan it, save it to your laptop, upload it from your laptop. So this is very specific. So this is where, when it comes to like printing, I don't even print copy applications myself. So my team does most of that work. So, um, you know, it it's I don't even deal with that part of it. What In the case we're doing paper filing, of course, you have to print, you have to sign. In the case you're doing online, then you have to do it through the online portal. Some portions of it may need to be uploaded. But if you're asking these questions, I think it's time to get an attorney on board. Right now, don't play with your case. Don't be going in there. If you have any questions, doubts about technical issues like this, like printing, signing, get an attorney on board. You can always give us a call and talk to us about what's going on, and then we can take over your case. And we can do that. I have the team that does that work, that does the printing, the scanning, the signing, the coordination, and we make sure we're complying with the whatever the requirements say. But you don't want to mess up there, especially with I-751. That's on a strict deadline. If you miss that deadline, you could find yourself in removal proceedings. How long after completion of biometrics for I-765, I-131, I-360, I-485 do you get EAD and AP? Go to uscis.gov and you will see the case processing times there. I really like to send you to the source, the people that actually manage the case processing times, so you can be prepared for the full extent of length of time that you have to wait. 16.7K likes on TikTok. I think that's a record. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate that. Can you track your T visa case online? This is a great question, and it does get my clients nervous because when we file their applications, they immediately go to USCIS. And we get the receipt notice. They put the receipt notice in. They're excited, and then they get something saying page not found, and that really unnerves them, especially with all the scamming going on. However, that is the case. So you can't see it online. because it's such a confidential process. It's such a case type of such sensitivity that they do not make it available online. So we basically know the status of the case by mail. The mail comes to us, which is a safe address for our clients, and then we are able to see the status then. We also have access to the T visa unit. If there's any issues, mistakes, or issues that we have to deal with, we talk to the T visa unit by email, but this is only for attorneys. Um, are they starting to approve cases for countries from the banned countries? So, based on what they've said, the banned countries are still on hold. They are, so what they refer to non-threatening countries, I believe. Those are the ones that um, they're approving those, but not the countries on the banned list. My relative was married in Canada but working on divorce. Will that affect his filing? It may. It just depends on what type of filing, the qualification. In some cases, if you're the married child of a U.S. citizen, you may now become the unmarried child of a U.S. citizen, or son or daughter of a U.S. citizen, and that's okay. But of course, it just depends. Dad is filing for him. Okay. So his dad is filing for him. He's a citizen. So he would be upgraded from the married son of a U.S. citizen to the unmarried son of a U.S. citizen, and that may cut the processing times by a couple of years. Just make sure that you are informing USCIS. USCIS did say in their policy manual that they would do this automatically, but still inform them to see if you can get that upgrade. It also comes in play when you apply for national citizenship, and N400 don't leave blank. Yes. So, good call on that, JT. And that's because, once again, if you're applying for citizenship, you have to show that you've maintained your residence here in the continuous residence and physical presence in the United States. If they see that you've been outside of the United States for more than 6 months in 1 year, they're going to presume that you've abandoned your permanent residence, and that's going to disqualify you from citizenship. It's a rebuttable presumption. What that means is that they give you the opportunity. If you're over 6 months outside of the US, but you hadn't hit a year yet, they give you a chance to be able to show that you maintained your status here. You paid your taxes, you paid your bills, you rented, maybe circumstances happened outside of your control. If you hit a year, though, they're going to deny. If you've been outside of the country more than a year and you're applying for citizenship, they're going to deny you, and you have to wait another couple of years to be able to reapply once you have you've been able to maintain physical presence and continuous residence. Keep in mind, though, that if you've been outside of the US under this administration, you've been outside of the US and they're assuming you abandoned your permanent residence and citizenship, you may get a notice to appear saying that you abandoned your green card. So you have to be very careful. Oh, thank you so much, concerned citizen. I appreciate the compliment. Do they start to approve cases from the countries? Okay, so I answered that. Uh, all right. That's gonna be it for me today. Um, Thanks so much for all these questions. Can I apply earlier for citizenship in August? Will be 3 years with my permanent. I'm married with a citizen. 3 years if you're married to a U.S. citizen and you maintain your permanent residence for 3 years and you're living in marital union. Yes, you have a shorter time. If I got an employment contract to the state, will I get problem getting a visa? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I definitely have to collect more facts to understand what's going on there. Get in touch with us. Let's talk. All right. Thanks so much for your time, guys. Thanks so much for the love. We're at 18.8K likes. Thanks for that. A lot of people, this got in front of a lot of people to help them to get information that can empower them. I'm going to continue to show up. So, what you do is like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell so that when I come on, you'll get notification and you can come on too if you're available and ask your questions. But questions on a live isn't going to get you to the solution. It may give you a hint, it may give you direction, but ultimately, what's going to get you there is action. And so we are a safe space to help you to get to action. We sit down with you, we talk to you about your options, and then we're able to tell you how to move forward successfully. And even if there's a situation where you can't move forward, at least you're informed, you understand your risk. So it's important at this point to just take that first step because you never know. So many people, I would say a large portion of my clients came to me, and they came to me with the thinking that they likely didn't have an option, and we found solutions for them. And that's one of the most fulfilling parts of my work is I get to do these kind of cases that just feel so miraculous. And it feels miraculous to the client, and I'm able to see how this this seemingly impossible situation becomes a possibility for our clients. So take action. Give us a call, schedule an appointment. We're open right now. Staff is available till 9 p.m. tonight. Staff is available tomorrow on Sunday. Give us a call though. The time is now, and then we can talk to you about getting protection and moving forward confidently here in the United States. Thanks again, guys. Have a great weekend, and I will see you on Monday. I might make a surprise appearance over the weekend, but if not, Monday you'll see me. All right. Bye bye. Have a good one. Thanks for the love on Instagram.